Welcome to the Shade Tree meeting. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Okay. First up is the meeting minutes. Anybody have any comments? Look good. Motion? Second? All in favor? Good. Public comment on that? No. Consent agenda. Matt, this is you, Villanova dumpster?
Yep, this was a project that they do in the summer. We okayed the last project, I think, in 2022, and this was 3 dumpsters. All the shade tree protection was in place, and there's some small shrubs and small trees around the dumpster, so all look in order.
Motion to approve. All in favor? Thank you. Is there anybody, Barclay Road, Mr. Wagner? You were here last time, I guess, and we had a question about the trees being removed, the heritage trees?
Correct. So what has happened is I went back to the owner, and they're going to save the trees along the roadway. So where the driveway was supposed to have come out through here is no longer. It's now a backup. The 2 trees that we're going to remove was a maple that was here and a maple that was here along the deck area, which the homeowner was really interested in removing only because of the addition that was going in and because of not wanting anything to fall on his house. So, but what I just found out about an hour and a half ago is that the township engineer has asked that this spreader event right here get piped out to the inlet that is here out in the road. So what they proposed was to do a foot-wide trench with a 6 to 8-inch pipe to connect from the bed out to here because they didn't want the township to get any liability in case this overflowed into the neighbor's yard. So the idea is that we just run a small trench through in between these 2 trees, roughly 15 feet from each trunk location, out to an existing inlet that is there. The tree quantities that are on the plan now are requirements per your ordinance. So I was able to fit everything in that we needed to fit in that we were taking out. The landscape was laid out pretty much to block this neighbor because everything that they have, they overlook. This goes downhill, so they're looking at the neighbor's big hot tub area. So the idea was to screen it more and then add some additional screening in the back.
And was there tree protection?
Yes, there's tree protection. There's tree protection fencing around all of them now. We'll have to revise the tree protection in this location now that the township engineer has requested that we put a pipe through there. So we'll take care of that.
Gotcha.
Again, I only found out about this about a little over an hour ago.
Gotcha. Any comments?
Are any trees being removed then? I see 2.
Yes, there's two large maples, one here and one here. Roughly they're 32 inches.
And they're still being removed? Okay.
Pardon?
They're still being removed?
Yes, this one right here on the corner of the house and the one in the back of the house. So this one is in close proximity to where the driveway is going to go, and then the secondary one is in close proximity to where the addition's going to go.
And the trees you saved were along the curb?
Yes, we're saving the ones along the curb.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Questions? Any public comment?
Oh, I have a question, sorry.
Yeah.
On here, it says that 1,000 cubic yards of dirt is to remain on site. Where is it going to remain?
I don't have the engineering plans. I did not bring them with me, but there should be a topsoil pile location. I did not do the engineering for it. I just did the tree replacement calculations and the landscape plan for it.
Jim, I brought this up last meeting, and there is like an outside, the basement is a walkout, I think, on the house?
No, there's no walkout.
Maybe it was a different plan then.
There's an existing porch there now and an old concrete slab side patio that's going to be removed. Yes. None of that soil stockpile? No, it will not be. Correct.
Yeah, thank you. And then at the end, will that be removed or?
My understanding, if it's not going to be used on site, it will be removed, correct.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, anybody else? Motion to approve? Motion, second? All in favor? Thank you. And do you guys mind if Mr. Wagner does the, which,
14 Farson?
14 Forston?
I just happen to be at the beginning and the end.
Are you guys okay with that?
So 14 Farson is a combination of another project, which is right next door. It was subdivided by the gentleman who owns it, and now they're going forward towards their building permit to put an additional home in. The plans that I have are different than the plans that you probably saw, only because this bed got a little bigger and we had some plant material within it that I ended up having to move to new locations to stay out of that. The underground storage is my understanding, and there's a detail on the land development plans. It's an enclosed plastic liner that has perforated holes in it, stones around it, and it has a volume of X, Y, and Z. That's why we couldn't plant anything in close proximity. I moved the sycamores that I had along the front of the street and replaced them with flowering trees, only because the root systems are less on the cherry trees as opposed to what would be on the sycamores that are there. This kind of matches what we've done on the other site, which is out towards Valley Forge, but then also is what is down the road in the development itself. We will be asking for a fee in lieu of several trees that we could not plant, only because the site really doesn't have enough room for them unless we were to plant on top of each other.
Is this a new dwelling, new house?
Yes, it's going to be a new dwelling, correct. The existing parcel had a house on the corner. That was demolished and it's under construction now, and then they subdivided this extra piece off, which had a small little bungalow on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha. And how many trees are being removed?
There's a total of,
It says
sorry.
36?
36, correct. I'm sorry, there's a replacement is going to be 36. 9 trees are going to be removed. 36 were supposed to be replaced. I can only get 28 on the lot, so a fee in lieu of for the additional 8 is something that the developer did not have a problem doing.
I believe there's 36 trees to be removed. The application, that's what the application stated. Yeah, well, public, Chief, we want to call public comment and questions.
Okay, can you just figure this out real quick? But you're saying 9 are being removed.
I'm the next door neighbor, so I have a sense of how many trees are on top. I was surprised at 36.
See, I'm going to go on assumption that it was not 36 because my calculations, obviously you have a certain amount of trees per requirement for the size that are there.
Just real quick, so I can show you.
Oh.
So this is what was submitted on the application. Unless that's a typo.
That has to
On your end?
That has to be type of one, yes. Because there are not 36 trees total on that site.
And then how many are you, so you're removing 9 trees.
Correct.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to pull this up here.
And we were required to put 36 in. I'm putting 28 back.
How many, what is it, 6 to 19?
We have, well, our smallest ones we're being removed is a 26-inch maple, and the largest one is a 55-inch oak.
Let's see what I can. They can't make that any bigger, can they?
I don't know how to do that.
There we go.
Oh.
What is it?
Oh, here we go.
So 3, 4, 4, 8, 11. So 1.
So the plane trees have been replaced with the cherry trees?
Correct.
So
We
this-
had
so
some
this
London-
is,
we had
so
some
this
London
is
plane-
accurate? This is accurate then?
Yes, correct.
So I think the discrepancy on the application was there's 36 or 38 trees to be planted, and it
Correct.
can only apply 25 to that.
Okay.
28 will go in, correct.
Okay. And what trees are you planting there?
Can you move the thing over a
We have
little
a
bit?
combination
We can't,
of
wait,
red
I'm sorry, we
maples,
can't see it? We can't see it, could you just move it a little bit?
Yeah, there you go.
Thank- That's too far.
Just want to see the tree table.
We have a combination of red maples, honey locust, plane trees.
tree.
And then also I have green giant arbs for screening, but then we also have a Kami cherry and Carolina silver bell that are going in.
Gotcha. And you're not replanting because there's not enough space? on the-
Correct. I
Gotcha.
put as many as I could on that I felt comfortable with. Anything more, we probably end up having to cut several of them down as the years go on, just because of what's already out there too. Beyond our property line up here, there's a nice size screening already of the existing tennis courts that are already there. So I'm filling in locations.
Gotcha. And then there'll be a fee in lieu of,
Correct,
to the tree fund?
correct.
Gotcha. And is there any trees that you're protecting, or are they all coming out?
Well, we are protecting this one, these two here also.
Can you move
and
down a
then
little
this-
bit? I'm sorry.
This is a large one, there's a large hickory here. I think there's two smaller hickories too that will have tree protection fencing. I do not have it on the landscape plan, it is on the grading plan and the land development plan.
The tree protection is?
Yes, correct, all that stuff is on the grading permitting plan.
Okay. Anybody else have questions?
I think we should just make note, for the record, the amount of the fee in lieu.
All right, so 20, what is the fee in lieu of, 250 or 500? 250. And so how many, you're planning 28.
Yep, so we're deficient of 8.
Okay, so
$1,500.
good, guys? Yeah. So do you want to make a motion to approve with the? Oh, public comment, sorry. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Come on, Mike, give your name and address.
No problem. I'm Amber Atwood Levy. I'm the executive director for Radnor Conservancy. I live at 436 Schoolhouse Lane, Devon, and Tredyffrin, but it's okay. I wanted to talk about the reason why I know that technically a lot of these are not heritage size, but they're not missing by much. We've got 27 inches, 29 inches, 20, they're quite large trees here. Particularly this 55-inch oak tree. What is the reason for this tree's removal? Because it's on the perimeter of the property. A heritage tree like that is pretty special.
I didn't put together the layout.
Mhm.
My understanding is they want.
It looks like that.
Yeah,
That's what we had on the agenda.
Yes, so from my understanding is that the builder was
Mm-hmm.
looking to duplicate what was already on this. So this house was torn down, and this is the new design. So they wanted to follow the same type layout to get the same type of entrance and exit off of it. And my understanding is that tree is roughly around here, and you can see where the stormwater is,
Mm-hmm.
and then also the grading in close proximity to it.
Yeah, personally, that doesn't seem like a great reason to cut down something that transpires thousands of gallons of water annually and provides, a lot of ecological impact. Oak trees are one of the most important species that we can have out in our tree canopy. So I would argue, some of these larger trees around the perimeter, I just, they seem kind of special.
Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead.
How you doing?
I am Mike Britton. I live at 18 Ferriston, right next door to 14 Ferriston. And I was actually just curious where the trees are located. I think, I'm trying to orient myself.
So that older house was, that bungalow was back here.
Yep.
So the property line ran here. I think there was a couple of trees here that were not of good quality. That's why we were taking them out.
There's a big tree stump right there. You know, is that coming out?
Yeah, the stump's coming out, correct.
Okay. And then there are a bunch of trees back here. Are those staying in place?
Yes,
I
if
think
they
they're
were
on the
not, if they
property
were
line.
not surveyed on our lot, we're not touching anything off of the property line.
Okay. Got it. And then these trees, so are these ones?
Green giant arborvitae. So you're looking at probably 18 feet wide by 24 feet high at max out.
Excuse me, just, Ian, could you back up a little bit, because we can't follow them. They're pointing and
Oh.
stuff, but we can't see what they're pointing at.
Sorry, I'm trying to understand the location of these 9 trees on the property.
Oh, the ones that were taken out?
Yeah. You have it?
This was in the agenda, so these are the trees that are being taken out of the property this is from the agenda packet
Correct.
that came out today.
Got it. Sorry, I just found
No
out about this
worries.
meeting 10 minutes ago from my neighbor. And the reason why is
Can you
just
come up to the mic, please?
to be completely transparent, we were actually in the process of talking to the Valley Forge Military Academy about this property. It was sold without notifying the street, so we were surprised by the progression of this. So, okay. I think I just need to get this sheet.
It's not my computer,
Oh.
sorry.
So the trees are,
So
is
the
it just
trees
the
are
roof?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9
Okay.
here, and then the notes are size is in
Mr.
there.
Wagner,
Get a little
Do you
closer.
have a
Got it.
sheet with the tree the existing trees?
No, I do not have that on me.
You
I'm
don't have
sorry.
that on?
It's difficult.
Need this anymore?
No, you can
Okay.
take it, sorry. That's
No,
helpful
it's okay.
for me.
No problem.
We have a bunch of trees right there. I was just making sure
Yeah.
those aren't coming down.
Yeah.
Cool, I'm good.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody else? You guys want to make a motion? Somebody want to make a motion?
Well, I agree with the Conservancy. I'd like to understand why that 65 inch is necessary to be taken out. Are we able to table this till next month to get better clarity on why some of those large trees need to be taken down? And also, I'd like to see a tree removal plan.
Tree removal plan,
Yeah.
okay. That
That's
would be
typically what
on the
they
grading
bring.
permit plan, which is probably in your package, which is the same one this young lady has.
Yeah,
That-
well,
There is
unfortunately,
none in the packet.
No, it's not,
There's no
otherwise,
tree removal plan.
Okay,
All right, so I made a motion. Anybody second? All in favor? All right. We're going to table it till next month,
okay,
and if you could bring a tree removal plan,
Okay.
or a plan with the existing trees on it.
okay.
And maybe go back to the owners and see if they would, any way to save some of the larger trees. I guess that seems to be one of the big concerns.
Okay.
And if anything could be switched around.
But you're most concerned about the large oak?
Yeah, it just seems that if you're taking it out for a design reason, there's no other engineering reason, or the tree's in good health, yeah, what's,
John, did you
Why
have a
can't they-
chance to go out to?
I was going to recommend I stop there with you.
Okay, if you would like to meet out at 14 Forest, then we should do that. I did see a little decay on it, but again, you're the arborist, not me. I'll be happy to do that. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Next up, anybody for 724 Knox Road? How are you? If you could introduce yourself and just tell us about your project and
Sure.
any trees that are coming down, and show tree protection on your plan, stuff like that.
My name is Nick Walker. I'm with Shock Group Engineering. All right. So this is a revised plan to a approved grading permit that came to this board back in September of last year. That project showed this 44-inch tree to be removed as part of the project. It was recommended to be removed also just due to its poor health and the proximity to the main residence. We are also proposing this 12-inch tree to be removed here and these 2 dead trees to be removed in the side yard. We have our tree calculation formula at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. There are 7 trees to be replanted as part of the project, 4 of which being large canopy trees.
Does it show what type of trees are being planted?
I do. I have that plan as well. So I have these 7 in the back area of the lot with the plant schedule table here. It's going to be 2 red maples, 3 river birches, and 2 Yoshino cryptomerias. Yeah. And here's our proposed plan here.
All right.
The 12-inch tree to be removed is in the location of our proposed driveway. And we have our tree protection shown around these trees to remain in the front as well in the rear and side yard. And we have our detail for the township standard tree protection on the following sheet. I can pull that up if you'd like to see.
Gotcha. It's a new driveway, is it?
Yes, it's an expanded driveway. It was restructured to make it easier to pull into the new garage.
Gotcha. And what size tree was that where the driveway is? going
This
in?
is a 12-inch tree.
12-inch tree.
Yes, so I believe it's 1 replacement tree for that removal.
Yep.
The other 6 for this.
For the heritage tree.
44, yes.
Gotcha. Any questions?
Yeah, what was the species of the 44-inch tree?
It was a grafted maple. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, grafted maple. Cherry tree, I'm sorry.
It has a graft on it?
Yes, that's correct. I have the hazardous tree report from
Yeah,
the
good.
commission. I can show here. I have an image of the tree.
Yeah, it's pretty much gone.
Yeah, it's not in great condition. And then the report from the arborist just saying to recommend the removal based on the health.
Anybody else? Questions? Anyone want to make a motion? Oh, public comment. Sorry, Matt. Anybody? Going once, twice? No? Anybody want to make a motion? Second? All in favor? Thank you very much. One thing I forgot, if you could, I don't know if you should or not, but you might want to update the application. It does say 2, and I'm not sure if, you said you did a new application.
There is a new application. The 2 additional trees are already dead. They don't play into our tree replacement calcs.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So there's only 2 living trees to be removed as part
Got
of the
it.
plan.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, next up is Villanova, the garage site plans. Introduce yourself and just tell us about the project.
Hello, I am Brendan Dorley from AEC, and the project for Villanova is the HSB garage is their single-story garage behind the HSB building, which is located on North Ithan Avenue, just north of the main entrance.
Okay.
It's just a single-story garage. Well, Villanova is realizing that it needs to be replaced. And the project is replacing the garage with more capacity, a few more levels as well. But as part of that construction, we will be removing 11 trees. And I have them highlighted in green on the plan. This box here is the existing parking structure. And there are several trees throughout the area that we're going to impact. And
What page is that? I'm sorry.
it's sheet 3, C1.1 is the drawing, but it's the third sheet. And a couple more pages later is our E&S plan, and it also shows our silt fencing for trees being protected. And those are, there's a cluster of trees in this area close to Driscoll Hall, and tree fencing will be down here in the bottom near Driscoll Hall and around this area of evergreen trees in this corner. There will be construction fence, which is similar to your tree protection fence, behind the sidewalk here on Ithan. So that carries the same purpose, a chain link construction fence.
Okay.
And you can see in this plan, the parking structure is significantly larger than the present one. So hence there's going to be some grading around the site to remove the trees.
Got it. And do you have a table with the trees that are being planted?
I have a plan. We don't have a landscape architect on board, but we acknowledge that with the 11 trees being removed, we need to put 15 back, and they are shown throughout this plan. Certainly Villanova would plant species that comply with the Radnor recommended tree list, but that hasn't been developed just yet.
One thing I would keep in mind, because I'm on the planning commission, and you guys have been before us on this project before planning, and there were some height issues that I think you did not seek waivers
We did not
on.
seek a relief for the height. no.
Right, so, but one thing people are gonna see here is, you're gonna see the structure from the street and from neighborhoods and stuff, so
Yeah.
whatever you plant, it would be great if you could try to screen this off
Sure.
as much as you can, because
Yeah.
it's just not a normal looking building.
Yeah. The trees shown on the plan are the minimum for the replacement. Certainly, getting a landscape architect on board, they would enhance the area around the structure itself. But from my perspective, I was just showing specific replacement trees.
Got it.
What kind of trees are coming out?
I'm not exactly certain of the species, but I think some might be oaks, but I'm not familiar with.
So they're deciduous as opposed to
Yes.
evergreens?
In this area up here, we were removing some evergreens,
Okay.
but that's the only area of evergreens being removed.
What do you guys think? I think the ordinance does say that they need to be, and maybe, John, you might know better, does it need to be the name of the tree or the species?
It does. I mean, I guess you're gonna give that to us
I will,
in your future?
Yeah.
So you guys come voting for mayor, which
yeah.
is surprising why you don't have that tonight.
Hmm.
I know you guys will do a great job, so I'm not worried about that.
Are you guys good with that? Sure. Yeah, I think they do an excellent job, yeah. Gotcha.
It's always a phenomenal job. So if you just, give us a revised landscape plan,
Okay,
the count of species that are being added.
okay.
Just a curiosity question, maybe not sequitur, but is this building going to be designed with a stone facade like you have across Lancaster, or is it going to be a
Yes.
brick?
I don't know if it will resemble that, but there is a facade, stone resembling the campus, yes,
Okay, thank you.
which the existing garage does not quite resemble some of the stone buildings.
Anybody else? Any public comment? Seeing none. Anybody want to make a motion? All in favor? With, just as long as you come back with the tree removal list
Yes.
with the names
Yes.
and what's going to go back in.
Yes,
And if you could provide that to the township.
okay,
Thank you.
will do. Okay. Actually, I thought the gap was between the first and the second, not between the second and the third, but So, Brendan Dorley, AEC. A few years ago, Eastern University got a bridge and a culvert permitted by DEP for a potential connecting road from their main campus driveway to the remote gym parking lot, which can only be accessed through the neighborhood now. Even though it was permitted by DEP, we never got a grading permit. So you're seeing plans for this grading permit. And as part of the bridge and culvert construction, the bridge, if we're looking on campus plan, here is the remote parking lot that's only accessed off of Fairview and Fenimore. And at some point, the main road here is intended to connect these two. So we're following up on the DEP permit to get a grading permit to construct the two structures. And in order to build the structures, we're taking down 5 trees. And one of them being an ash, a maple, an elm, and 2 other maples. And taking down the 5 trees results in 14 trees being required to be planted. Those proposed trees and locations on the campus have not been established yet. But again, Eastern will do what they need to meet code, but it just doesn't, I don't have a plan showing any of those. And it's likely that they wouldn't appear in this area. They might be somewhere else on the campus. The replantings, yes. Yeah.
Is there any other trees?
There are a few smaller trees that don't count in the compensatory, and there are trees within the project area that we are proposing. This is the new culvert being proposed, and this is the new bridge. In order to access the bridge area through campus, we're going to propose a temporary stone access, and that will be built on grade. So we're going to lay structural fabric down and then stone on top of it. So we're not digging anything to install that. And on either side of that access will be the tree protection fence for the trees on the perimeter. And I highlighted them in green here. Trees on the perimeter being protected for this part.
And that roadway is temporary?
It is temporary to get construction access to this side of the bridge project. And once that bridge is constructed, then that road will be removed.
And you'll keep the fencing up until the road is removed?
Yes, yes.
So this is the bridge going over the creek that was washed out a couple of years ago?
The pedestrian bridge would be over here, yes, and that's been rebuilt.
Okay, so this is another bridge.
This is a vehicular bridge.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions? Comments? None? Anything else? Any public comment? Anybody like to make a motion
I'll make a motion
to approve?
to approve.
Second? Anyone? All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
And much like the last project,
We'll send in the
we'll
stuff.
send in
Gotcha,
a
yep.
proposed plant list.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes. Good, thank you.
Okay,
be up-
Villanova University.
Would that be you?
It is.
Another one.
I thought there was one in between. Is that not true?
This is the
Eastern.
Keep it going.
No.
Good street, keep going.
the loading dock.
Yeah.
Need a copy of one tonight, if you want to better all night.
The Edgehill Road's on the agenda. I guess I beat them out. So this is, Villanova owns the property at 1 Aldwin, which is at the corner of Aldwin Lane and Lancaster Avenue. and they are proposing to relocate their central receiving operations into this building. And as part of that, we're reworking the curb lines to allow for truck access in and out of the parking lot.
Is this the one next to Spring Mill Road, or is it the one in the back?
This corner, this is that 5-point corner, 6-point corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a new painted,
Gas station's back here, Kenilworth,
Gotcha,
yeah,
okay.
this is that corner. But this line would be Spring Mill Road. There's another, I think this is Aldwin 2 in this triangular area here. So this is the last property contiguous with Villanova's property south of Lancaster Avenue, before Aldwin Lane. So for this property, we're removing 8 trees within the parking lot. They're all under 19 inches, so 8 are required to be replanted. And all of the existing trees are red spire pear. And what is being proposed to be replaced throughout the new curb islands are 3 ginkgo biloba, 3 crepe myrtles, and 2 black gums. And I don't know that there's, I'm sorry? I'm sorry, that's sheet 5, C2.1. And I don't know that there is silt fence, tree protection fence around this tree, because we're modifying the access, that we're widening it a little bit for the new truck access. And I think that's really it, because there isn't any real construction happening where the trees are on the perimeter.
So these are strips, basically, where the trees are going in?
They're in the
Parking?
yeah, between parking bays of parking, yeah.
And
Islands, yeah.
And John, ginkgos, like, is ginkgo a good parking lot tree?
Sure, it's the century, which is the upright Walmart.
Because you could get one that sheds a lot of fruit, and it's,
Very rare,
yeah,
very rare to even buy them anymore.
okay. And the black gum, how big do they get?
Black gum's gonna get pretty large, black gum's gonna get 65, 70.
That might, that's going to be inappropriate for that strip. That parking lot will kill that tree.
Okay. We'll
In my
consider that, and
Century ginkgo, that'll work really well. It'll take great. Black gum's gonna go overall. And you can have an intrusive nuisance as well.
we'll certainly reconsider those and use the recommended plant list for our decisions.
On page 6, you have plan schedule.
It's page 5, and yes, the sheet that you have that was submitted for the grading permit has been updated to what I just presented. So initially, to get this through to you, I was just replacing them with red spire pear, but Villanova was interested in putting some different varieties in.
You're definitely not putting in the red spire.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. The new plans have this plan schedule. I should have said that up front, but that's,
Wasn't sure about.
mm.
Anybody else have questions, comments? Any public comment? Nobody?
Oh, sorry, quick question. Sorry. In where you're putting the trees, is the soil going to be concave, that it could accept water in there? And could there be a curb cut to allow water to go in there? And could there be trees put in that are used to getting wet feet?
These are all curbed islands, and they're typically mounded up.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know this or not, the stormwater system, does this have a stormwater system, or was this built prior to stuff getting done?
There is a stormwater system on site. that it's existing, and that's one of the reasons why we're not planting trees in these two islands, because this dashed line here and here is the outline of the stone underneath the pavement.
Okay.
So that's why the islands have trees throughout, except for in that location. No.
I have a question. So this property used to just be an office building, correct? Right? So it was
Yes.
just cars. The purpose of it now, will it be a lot of trucks and vehicles and things like that coming in and out? And
It will not be a lot. Do you know, Karen, do you know how often the receiving will be? This is Karen McManuel's at Villanova.
So I'm with facilities at Villanova. So what we're doing, I'm sure you're aware that we're building a new library. And where we're building a new library, they're demoing an existing building, Kennedy, which is our mail room right now. So we're moving the mail room and graphic services over to this building in the basement. So there'll be daily deliveries for the mail room coming to this building.
what about parking and storage of vehicles?
No, there will be no parking and storage of any trucks or anything, no. No, it's just the UPS trucks, Amazon deliveries that the students get, many boxes, and those kinds of things. That'll be here.
And then has there been any feedback from the neighbors behind on Aldwin or anything? Has anything come up?
No, we haven't heard anything from them.
Thank you.
You're
Are
welcome.
you guys fixing up the building like you did at the one in front? The
Aldwin
painting it?
too? Yes, we will be painting
Looks
it.
really nice.
It's, thank
One
you.
in front.
Yeah, it's turned out
looks
very
really
nice. Yeah, so as part of this project, we're building an elevator on the back so we have access and everything. So once that's all done, this building will be painted just like the other one.
Cool.
Mhm.
Any other questions, comments? Ricky? No? Make a motion to approve. Second. All in favor? Good luck with your project.
Thanks. Now I'm done.
You want to do the next one too?
Now I'm done.
Which is 528 Atterbury. Mr. Yan.
Yes.
Yes, how are you?
Good. How are you?
If you could just tell us a bit about your project and show tree protection, any trees being removed.
So this is an existing single-family home on 528 Atterbury Road. They're doing some renovations, so this first sheet is the existing condition/demo plan. There's just a few rock walls and stepping stones in the rear to be removed. Page 2 is the grading and utility plan that shows the new addition in the back. And there is a small stormwater system off to the side here. Page 4 is the erosion sediment control plan that shows the tree protection fencing around the trees. And there is only one tree to be removed, which is this little red X here in the addition. It is an 8-inch hickory tree. And
8-inch.
so that's the only tree to be removed. I don't believe we have any replacement trees required.
And the tree protection is up there. You're just doing the addition, right?
Yes.
The back there? And where are you guys coming in and,
They'll use the existing driveway, and so we have this yellowish line that shows the disturbance area, so they'll come in off the driveway to access the addition.
very good. Any comments, questions? Public comment? Nobody? Make a motion? Second? All in favor? Cool, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next one is 451 St. David's Avenue, carport. How are you today? Good. If you could introduce yourself, tell us about the project and any trees and tree protection that will be going up.
Where did that go? That disappeared. I'm Cam Lacey. I'm the architect for the Goodchilds who own this property. I only have a kind kind of a shot of one end of the property. I had a piece of equipment fail this afternoon, right when I was getting ready to come. But you guys should have the grading permit application.
We have it.
And I think the more important thing is this one. We can zoom real tight into that. The carport is being tucked in here. The driveway comes down. Yeah, look at this. The existing driveway comes down and kind of has a turnaround in here, and then there's a little leg that comes off. One of the things that wasn't very clear between these two was that this was talking about removing a tree and removing some asphalt, but it really didn't show you where that was superimposed on what the proposed piece was. So I've overlaid, that's this little leg driveway now, and that's where this one tree is. And it's a 19-inch weeping cherry, I believe. And that's this tree here. And I really would like to try to take this carport and kind of shift it this way a little bit to save that tree, but the owner is worried it's going to fall on his house, so it's leaning that way quite a bit. It doesn't look like it's in really bad shape, but the roots are starting to sort of pull a little bit. So he's kind of doesn't care whether it goes or not. I'd like to shift it a little bit, but I know we're close to, we've got a really big 36-inch pine behind, and then right on the property line are a bunch of evergreens, and that's, let me start here. This marker is the property line coming across this way. And you've got, it's just all evergreens along this line that are coming towards me. And you can see some of them hanging out here. So we tried to stay 20 feet off of that property line to get as much space as we could from that evergreen line. And then the bigger, this is that big pine that's here. And that's probably 100 feet tall, but so I'm trying to get about 15 feet off of that and 20 feet off the side, and then we lose the one tree. I've told the contractor this is basically a U-shaped full foundation with a stone base and then a carport, kind of a lighter piece on top. I've asked him to do hand excavation so that we can find out what we're doing, what we find. If we find a lot of root systems, the backup is to go with brick or stone piers, and maybe do 3 across the back, 4 across the back, not a full foundation. So, that's kind of our position on this. And then also the way the grade falls off, the slab work is really all fill. You're not excavating any of that. So, I think the disturbance is pretty minimal, and we're going to try to, as we go along, make it, as reasonable as possible. So.
That parking spot. And is the new base going to be concrete or?
Yeah, this will be concrete, and then we'll patch in some asphalt here in front. The front of that carport's about 3.5 feet off of the end of this. It's coming towards me. It's about 3.5 feet into that line. And then this is probably 12 feet in.
And then how far back from the pine trees?
Yeah, I think we're about 15 on that. And that's, again, when we start digging, I'm gonna kind of move this thing around as we find things, if we find anything. We're allowed to go 10 feet front and back, front and side on the setbacks for an accessory building, but I don't want to get that close to all this stuff. So that's kind of, and again, this is the, I guess this is the one that's in question. That one there.
Do you have tree protection on your plan for the pine tree and the ones on the other side?
The other part of this submittal has that in there, I believe. I know the big pine has it around there, but we'd end up putting it down the line on the property line too. And that probably doesn't show there, but that would be how we would do it.
Okay, I think that is, yeah.
And your supplies, equipment, and all that stuff will be nowhere near those trees?
No, everything is, there's a paved area here, and then there's a grassed area, and that'll be the kind of the staging. So we're keeping everything away from all that.
I don't see the, oh yeah, there is tree protection fence.
I don't think it shows it along the property line, but we
No,
would do
around
that.
the pine, it looks like there's, on page 4.
Yeah.
Probably add it to the side as well.
Yeah.
Just since it is within the 25 feet, it sounds like.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? No? Anybody, public comment? Anybody want to make a motion to approve? Second, all in favor? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Approved. Okay, that is, we did Ferriston, right? Yeah. Okay, tree removal without approval. There was that email that went out today that I saw. Do you know anything about that, John, or Ricky? About the skunk hollow?
Oh, yeah, the one that we looked at, the 700 feet. The one is Skunk Hollow Sawmill Park you're talking about, that the people got fined?
Oh, you're talking about the...
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Skunk Hollow, I think it was, right?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Sawmill.
it's Sawmill
So
is
you're
actually the name of
talking
it.
about, so, Mr. Norsini had me go out, I guess about 2 or 3 weeks ago, to review some unauthorized clearing. Pico was running a gas line within the road, and for some odd reason, they jumped over to Sawmill Park and cut a swath about the size of a one-lane road within our woodland there. We went out and did an appraisal with mitigation costs. You know, it was in the tune of $20,000 to $25,000 with everything to restore the area, plant some new trees, meadow mix, all that good stuff.
So it sounded like, yeah, it was a $20,000 fine, and then
Correct.
they're going to replant as well?
That's
Or is-
correct.
okay.
Or they're going to give us them, I'm not sure how that's going to be handled with Mr. Orsini, but somehow it's going to get mitigated, yes.
Do you know how many trees were removed?
So I have, there was a total of, I think, 13 good trees. Okay, there was some invasives actually removed as well, which was kind of a benefit for us, so.
Gotcha. Nothing else?
And everything was under the 18-inch. There was nothing big.
No heritage trees or anything?
No, absolutely not, no. It's all
Gotcha.
small stuff, all 8 to 9-inch caliper stuff.
All right. Guys, old business. Do you guys want to go through this without Seth, or do you want to wait for him till next meeting? Tree maintenance pilot plan. I think he has all the information on it. So is that okay if we table that? All right. And then fall tree planting plan. I think he has most of the info, unless somebody else has.
You're our planning guru.
No, there will be a fall planting in November. We'll get more PHS trees.
Okay.
Seth has got visions of 150 trees. Sometimes, you know, after a martini or two, he's got 200 trees. But there will be a fall planting this year.
Make sure it's in warmer weather this year, Frank. Can you
Yeah, we'll.
speak to the weather gods?
All right, warmer weather, please. Ask the arborist day. Any update, John?
So originally, we talked about having this in July. There was a little bit of stall in time. We were trying to figure out some dates. So what it is, it's a panel of not just arborists, it's going to be a landscape architect, an ecologist, stormwater management person, a plant healthcare guy, a couple different entities. And what it'll be is a Q&A. People can come from the township, ask questions to this panel. I can be the moderator, obviously. We can work back and forth. It'll be a great, educational seminar for our residents. In thinking of a date, we talked previously about having in July. That has passed. I'm considering maybe September, since August is a big, month that people go away, trying to track people down. I think, the fall would be a better option at this point. So we just gotta, we'll get with Seth when he gets back. We'll pick a date, and then we have to run it through Ms. Leah and Mr. White.
Do you have people already?
I do have a list. I have Plan A and Plan B.
Okay.
I've contacted some of them, but I haven't given dates yet. So once we secure a date, I will secure the panel.
Got it, perfect.
And then I will send that out to everybody.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question. I'm wondering if there's a way to, when you start communicating this out to the township and the public, is to ask for questions up front?
We are. That's going to be part of it. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
great,
Yep.
awesome.
That
Thank you.
way we have an idea. I mean, some
Exactly.
people don't have the capability of getting those questions to us, or might think of something the day of. So we're gonna leave a time frame, and we're gonna try to answer as many questions we can pre people getting up and speaking, just for time sensitivity.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
That's the plan right now.
Anybody else? And tree checker program. Frank, you had brought that up too. Yeah. And I agree. I think it's a good idea.
I have a presentation.
Okay, let's do it.
It'll be quick.
He's ready.
You might recall last meeting, Jim, I think you brought up the fact that, we have a lot of trees out there. How do I do that? Is the mic on? Oh, yeah, it is on. I wasn't speaking into it. Okay. So since 2020, we've planted about 569 trees. Most of them are bare root type trees. I know you've planted about 16, Jim, in there that you supplied, and John has also. So these trees are out there, and the idea is to go out there and check on them and see how well they're doing. One, if they're there, they're alive, et cetera. What I'm thinking is focusing on a kind of a pilot basis on the trees we planted in 2022. There's 276 of those. They're all bare root trees. They're in parks, trails, and in front of residents' homes. So go after those 276 trees. We've got graduates of the PHS's tree tender program that we could ask to be volunteers. So they've been trained in pruning trees, and they know a little bit more about trees. There's also a tree checker program that we could run them through that tells them what to look for. We could give each volunteer 20 to 25 trees, ask them to visit their trees. They can either complete a checklist. There's also an iPad version where they can actually put it directly into a database. Otherwise, I'll compile the information, and we can just start sending out notices to residents as to, we inspected your tree and it looks great, or inspected the tree and could you do this or that. Parks and trails, the report card would go to Public Works, and this is what we found in the parks and along the trails of how the trees are doing. This information would also be fed back to PHS because they're very interested in knowing how well these trees they give us are doing. And complete the process by the end of September. What we look at is mortality status, whether they're alive, standing dead, stump removed, or there's no tree there at all, how their crown looks. We would actually record their circumference and height. How's the mulch? Too little, none? Any weeds or trash around it? These are yes or no type questions. Is the soil dry? Is the bark damaged? Any broken branches, suckers or sprouts? How's the root flare? Is it buried? Look like a volcano? And then again, give the report card to the owner. The tree checkers that we have these are people that have graduated from the course. There's about, I think there's 11 of us here, but it doesn't have to be limited to the tree checkers. We could ask the commissioners to get trained on this and go out and have their own trees to inspect. We could train public works people as to what to look for so that when they're out doing their job in the parks, mowing the lawns and such, they could actually check a couple of trees while they're out there. I don't think that would be a lot of extra work. So that's kind of like the proposal. Start with 276, see how it goes. Supply people with training, measurement tapes. I'm sensitive to the one comment you made that should be a trained arborist, Jim, so I'd like to...
Yeah, the more I think about it, I think your plan looks good. It's, if people are willing to go out and do it, I think let them do it.
Yeah. And if it's
I'd be willing to take a handful myself.
That'd be great.
Can you break it down to locations as well? So maybe there's 30 trees in one spot.
Yes.
Somebody could get all 30, maybe.
It's like when we do the stakes, we'd group them into some kind of cluster.
Yeah.
I've actually plotted them on a map and just circled and made a list for those so they're not running all over the place.
Gotcha.
I don't think we have the budget for drones, Kristen, to monitor these trees, so we might have to wait for the future. So what do you think? Do you want to go forward with this?
Yeah, I think it's really doable, Frank. I'd be willing to do like 3 or 4 parks. I live next door to Ricio. I could do that tomorrow.
Okay.
So like 276 is a number. If you got 10 people, that's 25 trees, 26 trees.
Yeah. PHS recommends we do it in pairs because I think that's more social. So I don't know what you think about that, but that could be a little bit more interesting to get volunteers to go out with someone else to make it more of a social occasion and still get work done.
Do we need to vote on this, or is it something we just do offline, or?
I don't think.
Can we ask a couple questions?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to just ask questions, and maybe it's just because I'm a little bit new, but I know there's several initiatives now, the tree maintenance pilot, right? So obviously this is an important issue is, yes, we're planting trees, but we need to maintain and inspect and all these things. So I guess what I'm asking is that, are we going to try to make sure that all of these maybe separate initiatives can be combined into one sort of comprehensive one moving forward? And it's not really a question, but I guess something that we should be thinking of. So that and the data, will the data be centralized as far as what the inventory?
It will certainly be centralized with PHS.
Okay.
We have a GIS manager, David Kelly, who's actually going to be plotting a township map on a GIS system of all our trees. And the reason for that is tree maintenance, the ability to brag about all the trees we're planting, and I can't remember the third thing, but there's a third thing.
Okay, that's awesome. And then when we get to the point where I guess there's some kind of input sheet for the volunteers, can we make it so that it's like a survey so where the data gets automatically downloaded from it?
We can do that, but the recommendation is to get the program on an iPad.
Right.
So when you're out there doing your stuff, you can just directly input, the information in, and then it gets uploaded.
Right.
Failing that, like someone doesn't have an iPad, we can borrow some from PHS.
Yeah.
But failing that, it'll become paper, and we can just fill out the paper forms, and I can compile that.
My last question, and then really this is just an idea, is when a resident gets a tree from the township, could we try to add in moving forward sort of just a strong suggestion, maybe not a requirement, that they also submit, I don't know, updates, photos, or something periodically back on the health of it, so that we can start to build that in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. It's not a bad idea.
Thanks.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, maybe we
Thank
can put some flesh around that.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Yeah. Anything
Yeah,
else?
Also in the list, put stakes, like are the stakes still up on the tree?
Ah,
Are they still tied up as one of the checklist items?
okay.
Because then we know we should probably take them down or let the homeowner know
They can go.
that they could go.
Yeah, okay.
It's been a year.
Okay.
Yeah, along that vein, the water sleeve, if they, some of them might still, the water sleeve, they might still have that on there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Make sure they took that off by now.
I'll add that to the list. Okay. Thank you very much.
Public comment? Could you come up to the mic, please?
I would add deer damage to that list as well, because, yeah, letting people, and then you have the opportunity to engage with people about like fencing and stuff like that too. Just, you know, because there's so much deer pressure around here that might be something useful too.
Okay. Hopefully there won't be too much because the street trees don't get much deer traffic, and we do have deer protection on all the park trees.
On all the park trees, okay, yeah.
And
So,
trail trees.
so this is only street trees, not any of the residential trees that are being passed out. Sorry, I misunderstood the
No, it'll
scope
be-
of the
it'll be
project.
Park trees too. We're just
Oh,
not
okay.
expecting much damage since they have tree protection.
Fingers crossed,
But
right?
we'll be looking. I'm sorry. We'll add that to the list.
Sure, yeah, no, it was just a suggestion.
Anybody else? Do you guys know if we have to vote on this or something, or can we just go out and do it?
Yeah, I would think that the commissioners probably need to hear about this, yeah, before people just start going in droves to.
So can you just tell them, or do we have to? No, I'm just-
You have a commissioner right there, I think he would.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I don't know, just send an email that you guys want to do this, it'll be fine. But yeah, and we can,
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean, this
I'll
is
have
just
Seth
something you guys are doing.
send you guys an email
Yeah.
that it's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't cost us anything, it's awesome.
Oh, no, it's all volunteers.
Yeah, I do have a question, though. With the inspection of the park trees, when do you plan on doing it? Like, I'm thinking about the street trees, that's private property that you're walking onto. So there is a little bit of notification that needs to probably be done. Like,
It's a right of way, right? So
yeah, but that's right away for the township, like not for you to walk on.
pedestrian travel?
Huh?
Not for pedestrian
No.
travel?
Yeah,
No?
It's still private property.
Yeah, you can't go on the property, you could do it from the street though and see it,
Yeah.
whatever you could see.
I think you can see it from the street.
Yeah, and maybe one of the partners would be that person who owns it, you know, if you want to do it in pairs.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What's that?
We can't go on their property. They're right away.
Yeah. And we're technically not the township. We're just residents, and it's different for you guys probably.
So
Even with us, if we're gonna go on someone's property, we try to notify them first,
Yeah,
so
we-
they know we're coming.
Yeah, we will do that. We will, I'll add that to the process, that we will notify the resident that we are going to be coming, you know, within a certain period just to inspect the tree.
You make a very valid point that going forward, that should be part of the thing, that we come back and inspect at any given time, whether it's a PW employee, zoning arborist, or a shade tree member.
Okay, thank you. Well, this is good. This is good stuff.
All right, so how about we take a vote just to be safe? So a motion to approve Frank's PowerPoint tree inventory of trees planted, as he stated. Yeah, tree checker. Jenny.
James, can I ask one favor? Could you give me a chance to run this by the township manager just to make sure? Because a lot of times he'll direct to talk to the commissioners, he'll direct to hold off. So I'd rather him know what's about to go on before we all just run into people's yards or run into the parks. So,
Yeah,
because
and-
he'll give some direction of what he feels
And
comfortable
if
with.
you want me to accompany to see his, that would be great too, whatever you want
Yeah,
to do.
I mean, I'll set up the meeting and see whether he just wants to read an email and see how it wants to go, or you need a whole presentation.
Okay.
But I have a meeting with him tomorrow, and I'll bring it up and see which way he wants to go.
Yeah, because we should probably do it before the leaves drop. It'll probably be easier to identify the trees for some of the people. Right. So yeah, if you could do that tonight, actually, and
I just wanted to say, and I think I don't want to beat a dead horse, but as far as, having volunteers go onto people's property, there's also liability and risk involved in that because you just never know
Mhm.
if people, so I know we're going to notify them, but I do think that it's smart that we, socialize it so that if anybody, I guess, feels that, you need to do anything to mitigate any kind of liability or risk, that we do that. That's all.
Generally, we ask our volunteers to sign a waiver, a township waiver, that reduces the township exposure to any sort of liability.
Yeah, I guess the trespass and just people with guns nowadays, I
Yeah.
don't know, it just scares me. Or dogs, I have 2 dogs that go crazy if somebody comes on my property, so just all those things.
Yeah, you can't have a tree.
Yeah, you can't walk on anybody's property. Just don't do
Right.
that.
No,
right?
that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Right,
but-
the street is fine.
This idea is great. Just send it to Ricky, who will talk to
so Frank,
Mr.
you'll
White.
talk to Ricky.
Yeah, I'll talk to
offline.
Ricky.
Ricky's going to talk to the manager, make sure the idea is good. I think moving forward for the inspections, parks are going to be fine most likely because anybody can go in a park. Tree inspections for the residents, tree should be planted within 10 feet anyway, so you can probably see it from the road. If it's a busy road, you can have your partner watching the traffic or in the car with hazard lights on. And don't go on the property, either way. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, we're going to just wait till we hear back from them. On to the next one. Motion to keep moving. Let's do this. New business EAC lecture topics. That was Jenny.
This was me, and this came from my friend who's on the EAC committee, and she's chairing and spearheading this whole lecture series. So she, Environmental Advisory Council. So they're doing something that sounds very familiar or similar to what John is proposing with this panel. So John, I'm wondering if, the topics that you're coming up with for your panel, maybe we could just give those topics to Edwina on the EAC, unless we all have other ideas. Okay. Okay, so tell me again, though, who you're bringing. You're bringing a stormwater guy?
Stormwater guy, landscape architect, a tree practitioner, like a guy that's actually doing tree work.
Oh, a tree work guy, okay.
Plant healthcare guy that's dealing with insects and diseases,
Okay.
and a ecologist.
What about a homeowner's insurance agent? Because I think that's one of the most popular questions. I see it online all the time.
About trees?
Liability, if my tree falls, someone else's tree falls, you need to write a letter, you need to do.
Okay, that's a good
That might
topic for
be-
them.
I can answer, that's what I do pretty much for a living, so I can answer those.
All right, okay,
John's our resident speaker on it.
okay.
Okay, those are some good topics I can give to Edwina for her series. Because I would imagine your panelists, John, could come to the lecture series and speak on their topic, right, John? Ricky. No, I'm just saying the panelists that you're bringing in probably could go and speak on their topic at the lecture series for the EAC, right? Okay, great, I'll tell her that. Anybody here have any other ideas that we think would be helpful for a lecture series on the environment? they're doing one right now where they're sponsoring a environmental yard, so you don't have to mow your yard. You know, it's very natural. And so that's one of her suggestions. I was going to actually suggest her beekeeping, because I see a lot of people interested in that, you know, just natural ways of, you know, propagating. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe rain gardens, talk about that
Rain
possibly.
gardens, okay.
Maybe bring in like a landscape. Are you gonna have like a panel?
No, it's a different talk each time.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. Maybe have a landscape designer,
okay.
different from an architect, whereas
Right.
it's somebody that's really into the plants
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not just the
Right,
the lines.
right, okay. Good idea.
May is the month of no mow. It's called No Mow May now.
Oh, oh,
So that would
okay.
be a fun time to
Okay.
do, or April leading
Okay.
up to, so people,
Yep.
you know.
I have that like every 3 weeks.
Okay. Matt, any ideas? You're always clever and creative and come up with good ideas.
Well, I think one thing that's always buzzing around is natives versus
Oh.
trees that are non-native, and I think there's a lot of misinformation
Mm-hmm.
about non-natives.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, we assume they're all bad, they're not. And so anyway,
Okay.
it might spark some kind of.
Yeah, okay, it sounds good. I could share with them our preferred list of trees also.
If they get it going, you can start doing garden tours. And, no, it's just showing the different.
Yeah, yeah, that would be
properties with
fun.
rain gardens and-
That would be very fun. That's a good idea. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate your input. I'll pass it.
All right, new business. Quick question for Rick. Was there a lot damaged over the last week of trees?
I wouldn't say a lot. I mean, mainly, we had trees fall, so damage in a sense of losing trees. The biggest one that we saw, we didn't get a caliper size or DBH on it, but it was in the trail from the Willows to Skunkalo in the back of, it's too big that we couldn't clean it up. So we had to call in our emergency tree contractor to do it. We had one go across the bike trail. For the most part, most of the stuff on the streets wasn't too bad. We had one here, some there, but the biggest ones across the bike trail, which is always the hot spot. Me and John were just talking about, he's going to go up there and do an inspection just to make sure. For some reason, that's a hot spot when these storms blow through like they've been for the past week.
No injuries
No,
from
no,
injuries
nothing
or
like
anything
that.
like that.
No, sir.
There was one, it's on Bryn Mawr Avenue, right near Drexel. There was a tree that fell and it was on the wires. I don't know if anybody, I haven't gone up there in the last day, but, and I
Yeah.
forgot to email you guys, but
Yeah, if it's anything on, the state roads, and if it's on wires, we kind of don't do anything. That's, we might clean it up, but usually Pico, when they come up, they, clear everything, take care of the wires, and we might be a good citizen and clean it up, but actually the state, on the state roads, they're supposed to handle
But you guys didn't
that.
take-
So no, we didn't get a report
Okay.
on that. The couple we got, most of them were on utility lines, and it was nothing big, no damage, nobody was harmed or hurt or anything.
gotcha, cool.
Yeah, all of these trees on private property the hazardous tree reports were sent in. John reviewed them, and they were okay to proceed to have the trees removed, so we had no issues. This is the same. All of these trees received phone calls from residents. Our park supervisor then contacted John, and he went out and saw what was wrong with the tree. I will make a note just for the record. After talking with Ms. Leah, and I have talked with John, and I'll have a talk with the park supervisor tomorrow. What we will put on here for future reference is the reason why these trees are removed. So you'll be able to see, why we removed them. They were all, looked at by John. We have email proof of all of that, but we just want you to be able to see why it was removed, because when you look at some of these numbers and DBHs, you may feel a little alarmed if anything's 30 inches or more. But I will also touch on the Fenimore Woods,
Yeah.
since that's a hot spot in the township. These 3 trees that were on here were part of an original number that were supposed to be removed, but we went with the most severe of the hazardous trees. So that means the ones that, these three were still in that number, but we kind of even narrowed it down and took the most severe out of those hazardous trees. So these three, after looking, they were still in decline. The park supervisor noticed it. There were actually still purple marks from when John originally reviewed the project. So all we had to do was say, John, these are the trees, these are the locations. He had the map. All we had to do was go and verify these were the trees from the original. And that's why they had to be removed, because they basically, held on, but they were in severe decline from those a year or so earlier that we tried to get them removed. So that's why you see them on here now.
The park. Okay, any public participation? Anything else?
Can I say one last? I'm sorry, Amber, can I say one last thing, because we had a conversation about this at the last meeting. We had the willow tree removed on the island, James. So it was
removed. If you pruned it when I asked last year, then it would have been saved. All that decay would have gone away. That's what I hear. I haven't been able to go back there, Jimmy,
Yeah,
because
so we removed it and we put in the magnolia that all you requested. No, we didn't. I'm just playing. We didn't put the magnolia. We actually put the willow.
Like my magnolias.
We actually put the willow tree that was requested, so it's been planted.
You're totally surrounded, Matt, by large, mature trees. You have a beautiful island, some color, some appeal. You don't like yellow? Well, that's subjective.
What were you going to put in? Butterfly?
Yellow bird magnolia.
Yellow bird.
Giant yellow flowers.
But that didn't go in.
No, we put in a weeping willow.
You put in a willow tree.
Yeah, that was.
So where did you put it? Like
on the island, right back.
Where
on the island.
did they get the stump out and everything?
Yep.
Yeah,
We
nice.
were able to get the stump
I'll
out.
get paid in 5 years to go back and condemn that one.
What size tree was it?
It was a ball and burlap, so it was probably about 10 feet or so tall. We went and got it from a nursery, so it wasn't, no disrespect to bare root trees, but it wasn't a bare root tree. It was a ball and burlap tree.
When was that planted? I'm just curious.
Probably a week or two ago.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
All the rain?
Oh, yeah. It got
Good
plenty of
timing.
rain.
You planned that, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Good work.
I hope it got washed downstream. I'm kidding, Matt.
All right, public participation. Would you like to say anything else, or? Oh, good. Adjournment. Let's get out. Thanks.
Nice to meet you too, everybody. This is a much more formal setup than we have in Tridiffer, and like